Tonight on Another Thing About Tartan, I am so pleased to be joined by Sarah MacPhee, a very active member of the Scottish American community. Sarah was actually born here in Scotland, but moved to the States when she was only 5. Then, not able to resist the pull of her birthplace, she returned to Scotland for some of high school and then again to study at Strathclyde University. And we are so excited to hear her story today. So, Sarah, would you like to start by telling us the story of your move across the pond? You were so young. Do you remember much about this time?
I do. I remember it very well, actually. I remember arriving to JFK. It was a baking hot, lovely, sunny day, and I was dressed in a wee woolen tartan outfit. And I recall that people loved our accents, which I sadly clearly have lost.
You can still hear little tweaks of it here and there, though.
Now and again.
Yeah. And how have you kept your Scottish heritage alive while living thousands of miles away from your home country? Are there any family traditions you've upheld throughout the years?
Well, we love a Burns night, of course, the ritual of it and the history. Um, and as many, I think, expats living in the US here can relate to, we've had many haggis out of a can, which is actually more appetizing than it might sound. We also love watching the Six Nations rugby and cheering Scotland on, no matter how they're doing.
That sounds great. That's just what we do here as well.
Yes.
And do you visit Scotland often? And when you come to Scotland, what are your favourite things to do? Do you have any best foods to try or people to meet?
I come back as often as I can, or go back, excuse me, as often as I can. And when I go back, I love to spend time in Edinburgh, where I was born, and spend time traveling around the country to see friends and family. One of my favorite drives, anywhere in the world, is from Edinburgh up to Fort William, where some of the MacFies reside.
Wow.
Driving through Glencoe, I think is just stunning. It's so beautiful. As far as food, I think we're incredibly lucky to have wonderful produce and game in Scotland. One of my favorite meals has to be my Granny Annie's lamb stew and lamb raised on the Isle of Lewis by my family and neighbors, and potatoes from the garden, although you have to be careful. They're your own potatoes from your own garden, not the neighbors. I think, the homegrown produce and meat that we have in Scotland is second to none.
Yeah, definitely. I could not agree more. And you're right about not wanting to eat your neighbour's fruit and veg.
Yes, it's happened accidentally.
Yes. You've been an active member of many Scottish American societies over the years, including the American Scottish Foundation, Scottish Business Network, New York Caledonian Club, and taken part in the National New York City Tartan Day, to name a few. Why was it important to you to embrace your Scottish heritage in adulthood?
I think perhaps we realize, especially as we get older, that as a small nation and population, we have just achieved so much, and our diaspora and influence reaches all corners of the globe. So I feel this is something to be supported, and to help shine a light on all Scotland has to offer, both culturally and in terms of doing business in and with Scottish organizations.
And what is the most rewarding part about being involved with so many amazing societies? Does each have a different focus and bring something different?
I think the shared sense and appreciation of culture and history is really strong. And so that's bonding, I think. I think that's the thing that kind of stands out most to me.
Yeah.
And, whether someone joins because they're from Scotland, have family there, or just an affinity, or because they're an Outlander fan, all are welcome. And yes, absolutely. Each of the societies and groups offer different programming and a different focus, which I think is their absolute strength. They offer something for everyone. And it also means that you can be, involved or a member in more than one and enjoy different experiences and make different connections, which is wonderful.
Yeah, no, that does sound really great. Did you notice that there was an increase in members joining after Outlander, the TV program, came out? Did that like spark quite an interest in Scottish heritage?
I think it did. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a really strong, huge fan base, which is fantastic, excuse me, and lots of fun. And yeah, I think that's to be encouraged, any and all interest in Scotland for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. And I can imagine you will have attended many incredible events with the various societies through the years. Can you share a few of your favorite memories?
Yes, yeah, I'd love to. So a fun one, and just speaking about Outlander there, a great memory is with the American Scottish Foundation and Barber. We co-hosted an after-party event for the 2016 Tartan Day Parade at Barber's showroom in New York City, where Sam Hewen, who is the Grand Marshal of the parade, was guest of honor. So that was a popular event, as you can imagine, and that was,
yeah. That's very cool.
and another one, just recently, this past year, in April, I had the pleasure and honor of marching in the Tartan Day Parade with the Scottish Business Network. It was the first time that I had met, Russell Dalgleish and Ian Houston in person, and got to meet and spend time with fellow ambassadors, and then also make some connections in the Scottish and UK universities community in New York City as well. So that was really rewarding. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds really amazing. And it's so strange how over the past few years we've met so many people virtually, and now we're actually getting to meet them in person. It's very exciting.
It is. It's hugely exciting. Yes.
And there's a real trend just now for exploring your roots and therefore more interest in Scottish heritage. Is this having a big impact on membership with the different societies you're involved in? And do you think it's going to continue?
Yes, yeah, you're right. There is. There's great interest, and it does feel like that momentum is set to continue. Scottish Business Network actually are doing a tremendous job of bringing the Scottish diaspora together. We are quickly growing and rapidly extending our reach and support, which is tremendous.
Yeah, that sounds great. That's really great. And you currently work for British American Business, who are dedicated to helping companies build their businesses on both sides of the Atlantic. Obviously, something close to our hearts as we recently opened our store in Albany, New York State. Can you tell us a little bit about your role with the company?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But actually, first and foremost, huge congratulations to you all. That's absolutely fantastic that you've established a physical presence in the US, in New York nonetheless, and Albany, of course, being the capital of New York, which is very impressive. So well done. As you say, yes, BAB does just that. We help support companies who make the US part of their growth journey, as well as convene and advocate for our multinational and SME members alike. Essentially, we encourage and support trade and investment in the transatlantic corridor.
Very interesting. And you previously worked for the British Consulate in New York. Have you always known you wanted to work within the British American trade industry? And what was it that first captured your interest to follow this career path?
I hadn't known, actually. I started in HR, but what drew me to the consulate, I think first and foremost, I was drawn to that sense of service that working at the consulate provided, which was born out of my time at high school in Scotland, actually, a very special place that was dedicated to instilling a sense of duty and service in its students, as well as nurturing a globally minded community. And then I think because, I had spent so much of my life in both countries, in Scotland and the US, for education, personal and professional reasons, drawing on my transatlantic experience seemed to make sense. And then with the hope that I could, use that to be of value to others, essentially.
Yeah. No, it's very cool what you've done, and it makes so much sense considering how much time you spent between the two different countries.
Yes.
So throughout May, we've been celebrating the MacFies as our clan of the month, and you're obviously lucky enough to be connected to this great clan. Have you or any of your family members done any research into your family tree? Do you have any interesting stories to share?
Well, just recently, actually, I learned that Scotland's last great outlaw, or bandit, as he was called too, was a MacFie, which really made me laugh. And I think a few of my family are most certainly direct descendants of his. And I would prefer to think of him as a Robin Hood type, though. And again, that would certainly fit with some of my family members as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll think of him like that.
Yes.
And finally, we ask everyone this question: what is your favorite tartan?
Well, goodness, am I allowed to be a little bit greedy and name two? If I am, I would say the MacFie. If I would say the MacFie tartan naturally, and then also my old Scottish school tartan, the Gordonston school tartan.
Oh, amazing! Your school had a tartan. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Did you have to wear it to school?
We did. We wore it to chapel on Sundays, and then for traveling for like hockey matches and traveling to and from school.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's very cool. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. So tartan's very close to your heart then.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Sarah. It's been so interesting to hear your story about tartans and America and everything. It's been really cool. And it's good to hear you're doing your part to keep the Scottish spirit alive across the pond.
Well, likewise. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. It's been wonderful to speak with you. And I'm just so excited and happy for you all, what you're doing at ScotlandShop and your journey here to America. And I just can't wait to see you go from strength to strength. And I know SBN's been a great support, and we're here to help. So we look forward to continuing the relationship and watching your journey.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's really kind of you to say.